Creatine XL. With a supplement as important and revered as creatine, why make it XL? These are the questions we're going to be answering today. Animal Pack, Creatine XL. Obviously, Animal is one of the greatest companies in the industry. They've been doing so much for so long for us, and we've been enjoying a lot of the formulas that they've been putting out as of recently. Now, we had a creatine shortage for a while. Why would they be doing a more complicated creatine? Well, if you guys don't know this, Animal actually is a contract manufacturer, so they have a little bit better control over their supply chain, and so they can do kind of cool stuff like this. And this was kind of a new test for them to see, hey, will creatine do well when we add other things to it in terms of consumers enjoying it? I think this is an awesome product, and I'm going to tell you guys why. So you guys should all be familiar with why creatine is so important. Creatine helps with literally everything in your body. It's a nootropic. It is an important ingredient for athletes, for endurance, for muscle, for hydration, for all sorts of stuff there. It also prevents muscle wasting. It's great for elderly people. For that reason, I don't think that I should have to get into the specifics of why creatine is so important if you're at this level of watching PricePlow. If you've come here from searching, I'd recommend you go to our channel, search creatine. There's a lot of way more in-depth stuff. I'm not going to go far in. This is going to be a lot about why they put a lot of the stuff around creatine here, like betaine anhydrous, like Senactiv, like this other stuff. Creatine itself is one of the most beneficial, just important supplements for an athlete to take no matter what. No matter what. Literally no matter what kind of athlete you are. All the myths that you've heard about it, like holding water, about having kidney problems, all that stuff, it's not true. Creatine is one of the safest, most important supplements for all athletes to be using, period. We've got 5 grams of creatine monohydrate here. In terms of dosaging, this is like the gold standard. There are some ways to dose out by body weight that can be important from person to person, but for the general population, 5 grams is going to be more than enough. For most people, 5 grams is going to be dosed out at higher than their actual body weight is going to want. It's going to be an absolute perfect blanket for them to get enough in there to satisfy their creatine stores. This is something that needs to be taken regularly for a while to saturate those stores and to have you fully saturated and benefiting from it. This is a long-term supplement. This is not something you feel when you take it. From there, we have a bunch of stuff added. First off, betaine anhydrous at 2,500 milligrams, also known as trimethylglycine. Betaine anhydrous is a very, very well-seen supplement in the sports supplement space. As opposed to where creatine donates phosphate groups, this is going to be donating methyl groups. This helps a lot with upregulating ATP production. ATP is super important for longevity, but especially for athletic purposes. Another really important property that most people will look at mostly for betaine anhydrous is the osmolytic properties. This is going to be really helpful for hydrating the body. It's great for thermoregulation, keeping you hydrated and feeling good during hot times or just trying times of training, competing, whatever it is that you do. Now, there's a lot of different great research studies. One of the most interesting one was gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time. 6 weeks, participants took 2.5 grams, which is exactly what's in here, gained 5.3 pounds of muscle and lost 6.4 pounds of fat during that. Now, they also had a follow-up study a couple years later, 5 years later, an 8-week-long resistance training program, lost 3.3% of their body fat. Pretty intense. Overall, for body composition, it's awesome. There's actually a study in women of increasing arm size. I always joke that it doesn't work for men, clearly, because it didn't work for me. I just don't have great arms. Overall, it's safe, it's effective, and it should definitely be seen next to creatine because of the synergies when it comes to ATP production. Now, from there, we've got Purple Tea Extract. This is actually was new to me. It's called PurpleForce, 100 milligrams here. This is going to be another ergogenic, very similar to creatine and betaine. Awesome thing to put next to it. I really do like the addition of it here. Ordinary green and black teas have been shown to increase nitric oxide production through endothelial antioxidant activity. And since nitric oxide upregulation is associated with athletic performance, we expect to kind of see the same from Purple Tea. Purple Tea is going to have additional anthocyanin content. We don't have a lot of studies on PurpleForce. This is a new trademark ingredient, but the early research seems to indicate that these benefits are exactly what we'll get here. So in a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled study, really good study, following exercise, subjects who took PurpleForce had lower levels of lactate dehydrogenase, the enzyme that breaks down lactic acid. Lactic acid is a byproduct of cellular respiration that builds up while you exercise. So the more intense the exercise, the faster your muscles are going to produce lactic acid. Once your workout exceeds a certain threshold of intensity, you're producing lactic acid, lactate, faster than you can clear it. At this point, that compound begins to accumulate. And as it accumulates, lactate is going to cause increasingly amount of muscular fatigue. Eventually, it can build up to the point where muscles are essentially going to fail and you're forced to end your workout. And your body makes lactate dehydrogenase in response to this rising lactate level. So lower levels of lactate dehydrogenase implies lower levels of lactate during and after the exercise. So this is going to suggest better endurance here. Subjects who took this course of the study had greater athletic endurance. They also had greater willingness to exercise, and that would be interpreted as higher perceived energy levels. It's not what they specifically wrote. This is not going to be a stimulant. You will feel more willingness to continue your training because of this. Now, another key difference between purple tea and more regular recognizable varieties of tea to be the 1,2-digaloyl 4,6-hexydihydrogenino. I didn't say that right. Il-D-glucose. I'm not going to re-say that. I'm going to screw it up every single try. We're simply going to thankfully abbreviate it to GHG. So GHG appears to have an anti-obesity effect and anti-aging effects as well. Not surprising that it has these because green tea is really big on those, and this is just a different tea. So this is going to inhibit fat absorption, shown in a 2015 study where subjects received 100 milligrams of purple tea for a month. Now again, that's not a PurpleForce study, that's a purple tea study, so it's not specific to this, but we can still claim that because it is that variety of tea. Now, those subjects, their lean body mass percentage increased as well as fat going down. So the weight loss consisted of fat. We generally want to lose just that instead of muscle. Now, another study where they drank purple tea, again, not quite like taking it in a powder, but still going to be the same variety of tea. Researchers saw a decrease in BMI, reduced body weight, lower body fat percentage, less abdominal fat, and smaller waist and hips. So even though we don't have a lot of studies on GHG itself, purple tea overall is well known to do these things. So kind of cool to see that in here. PurpleForce is distributed by MadePro. They've provided additional information about upcoming research about upregulating AMPK. That's kind of our we need energy now enzyme, and the mechanisms perfectly align with purple tea extract. So it makes sense. We'll have to come back and talk about that when that's published. Now, the big addition here, if betaine, anhydrous, and creatine were not enough for you, is the Senactiv. Senactiv is an ingredient that you guys have heard me talk about a lot from New Live Sciences, a very great company. We love them for their estrogen, for their InnoSlim, their Senactiv. Of course, there's Ilaria, a lot of really great stuff. Now, Senactiv is a senolytic agent. It's extracted from Panax ginseng and Rosia ruxburgi. Now, New Live Science researchers and the company overall, they're going to be knowledge leaders on ginseng extracts like this. They do a lot of these. Most of their ingredients are different extracts from this one plant. RB1, RG1. It's very confusing for a lot of people. We have a full video breaking that down. If you're interested in learning the difference between Senactiv and estrogen, I would definitely check that out. Now, senolytics are a category of nutraceuticals that most consumers you're probably not very familiar with. They're going to be compounds that facilitate the breaking down and recycling of old, dead, dying cells, aka senescent cells. That's where the name senolytic comes from. The metabolic dead weight then can be replaced by newer, healthier, more functional cells. Obviously, a really good thing. Get rid of old weight, bring in new cells. Now, a good number of studies have been shown on this ingredient. It's going to show a lot of different effects. I love the different variety of effects that we get here. We're going to see significantly attenuated muscle damage, faster glycogen replenishment, and less inflammation upon conclusion of exercise. VO2 max also increases by 20%, and in a recent study showed lower perceived exertion in leg exercises, followed by reduced inflammatory markers the next day. So you're able to train harder, recover faster, get back after it better. Increasing your VO2 max is going to help you training even harder. Overall, I see great benefits for athletes here, in addition to just great living quality. It may be a simple product, but it is a hard-hitting one. I'm super proud to see this coming from a company that I've loved as much as Animal for so long. So definitely change up your creatine, try something new. This blend is definitely a new way of thinking, and I'm a big fan of it. As always, guys, I gotta say, I got this product for free, and we do have a business affiliate relationship, but hopefully this video helps you better inform your buying decision. As always, guys, have a great day.